A very good morning to all the students of class 12 political science, and the students, from this lecture we are going to start your second book, that is part B, that is politics in India since independence. The reason why we are starting this chapter, although one chapter is also left in the previous book, but according to the new revised syllabus, as you must have seen, which has been updated by the CBSE recently last week, in that we had to do only 3 chapters of the first book, that is contemporary world politics, and those 3 chapters we had already completed. But the rest 3 chapters for term 1 we have to do from the book, that is politics in India since independence. That is the reason I have started this book, and the first chapter we will have an introduction part of the first chapter today. So I hope you have no doubts relating to why I have started part B today, because the syllabus for term 1, which will be coming in November and December board exams, that has been already finished. Okay, that was Cold War we have done, and then end of bipolarity, and the recent chapter which we have finished, that is United Nations and its organization. These chapters are from that book 3, and the other 3 chapters for term 1 we have to do from this book. So today we will be starting the first chapter, that is challenges of nation building. So before I talk about this and give you the introduction part of the chapter, because this video is going to be an introductory video where I will be discussing that what will be the concept and content of this chapter, so that you will have a fair idea that how we have to proceed with this chapter, because it will have various challenges and you have to step by step understand them. So before moving forward, let's discuss the title of the book, that is Politics in India since Independence. So from the very title of the book you can make out, we will be focusing on the politics or the political developments or political growth of India after their independence period. So once we became independent country, we gained sovereignty, we framed our own constitutions, okay, we became a democratic form of a government, then how our politics has worked and what political developments have taken place with the passing years after independence. So basically this will be the content of the whole book, where we can understand the various political aspects and dimensions relating to India but after independence. It means after 1947. We will not talk about the period before independence, we will not talk about the freedom struggle, we will not talk about the freedom fighters here, we will not talk about the colonies of the British era, but we will talk about once we attained independence, after that how we have taken up the challenges to build our nation, although facing many challenges, multiple challenges, but still we managed to build our nation. Okay, and in that constitution has played a very important role, and it is good here for you that in class 11 you have already read about the constitution, constituent assembly, how our constitution was framed, everything you know. This is going to be a part of that also, so it will give you a good understanding if you have understood that chapter in class 11 about constitution. So this will be the book, but this book, Politics in India since Independence, it will be a overlapping nature book, where you will also have to study historical events. When we talk about the independence, you also have to understand the historical events which took place before the independence and after the independence. Who are the important people? But along with that, we will also talk about the political developments. So this book, that is Politics in India since Independence, it is going to be a book which will have overlapping nature, and where we will try to understand historical background and political developments all together to give you a good understanding of this book. So till now I am talking about the book. Now if you have to understand the politics since independence, now we have to see the first chapter, which is going to be the most important chapter, challenges of nation building. So can you make out the meaning of from the title, because you must try to understand what is the title emphasizing on, why this title has been given to a chapter. There must be a purpose. So it's written, since we are talking about the politics in India after independence. So the first thing was challenges of nation building. As soon as we attained independence on the midnight of 14th and 15th August, there was a special constituent assembly session which was headed by Prime Minister Nehru ji, Jawaharlal Nehru, as a Prime Minister of Free India, first Prime Minister of Free India. So we talked about the various challenges of nation building, because we knew the most important thing which we lacked as a colony of Britishers, we were not given opportunities, we were not given freedom, we were not treated equally, we were being discriminated, we did not have any rights to participate or show our representation in the governance of the Britishers. So all these things we have been lacking, and desperately everyone had huge demands, desires and aspirations from an independent India. So basically two important things which every citizen of India and every important leader of India dreamed of was that as soon as we will attain independence, we will have a democratic form of government where each and every citizen will be given equal representation. There will be no discrimination on the basis of caste or language, because we have faced so much of discrimination under the Britishers that we were not ready to face all this once again. So we wanted a good lifestyle for the people, and people had huge demands and aspirations from the upcoming governments, especially the important political leaders, popular freedom fighters. So they were all responsible to frame a good constitution and make a good structure for the country. Okay. So another important dream and aspiration was that government will work for good for all, especially the backward or discordant poor people or the sections of the society which were disadvantaged. So those people needed more importance and they needed more support so that they can come to the level of the society. So these two are the major challenges. But once we talk about the challenges of nation building, it is as we were facing multiple challenges. You can imagine the situation. You can imagine yourself as a part of a freedom struggle, or you are one of the important person or a citizen of a country during the national movement of freedom. So what would have been your ideas? What would have been your aspirations and goals relating to the independent India? Because since under Britishers you would have faced so much of problems, so much of discrimination, you must have been so much suppressed. So but now as an independent person living in an independent country, you would have lots of desires and goals and aspirations. So to fulfill them, there were lot of challenges. Okay, so when we will talk about broadly, independent India faced three kinds of challenges. There were lot of challenges as soon as India got the independence. Lots of challenges were there for India as an independent country, which India has to face. We were happy that we got independence, but we also had to face a lot of challenges. So first was, but we have broadly divided into them 1, 2, 3 categories. There were so many challenges, so we are not going to study all the challenges all together. We have divided them, or we have categorized them, classified them into 3 broad challenges. The first was shape a nation that will be united and accommodative to diversity. So the first challenge was that we have to make a nation that will be united and accommodative to diversity. It means we are talking about the unity in diversity. India is a country which is also a land of diversity. So we have to accommodate each and every person relating to different caste, color, language, place of birth. So everyone had to be accommodated within a country so that we could integrate our country. So this was the first challenge, to integrate all the people, to bring unity among the people within India. So this was the first challenge. Then the second challenge was establish democracy. As we knew, under Britishers in advance, before our independence, we had always dreamed that whenever we will be independent, we will gain independence, we are going to be a democratic form of government and a true democratic country where each citizens will be playing an important role by electing their own representatives who will be acting and reacting on behalf of these citizens. So this was the second challenge. So we will discuss about democracy, how democracy was established. Okay, and this constitution is very important here. Third major challenge was ensure development and well-being. Once we have united our nation, we have accommodated all the people, that is diversity. Then the second step was to establish democracy in our country, and the third challenge was ensure development and well-being for all. We had to look for the economic development, because we were a very poor country once we got the independence. All the resources were used by the Britishers. So we had to start, we were facing economic crisis. There was a huge poverty at the base level. Huge percentage of population was under poverty line. So our focus was to have development, economic, social developments, so that there was a well-being of all the citizens of the country. So such plans and policies had to be drawn out by the government, which could benefit the large section of the society, especially to eradicate the poverty in India after independence. So these three, these are the broad challenges which we will discuss in detail from an NCERT book. So you have to remember that this challenge is having three type of broad challenges, and they have been divided like this. But you also have to understand one thing to understand this chapter and this book. That is, in first three chapters we will analyze how these challenges were tackled. But in the first three chapters of this book, okay, like this is the first chapter, challenges of nation building. In this, we will tackle with the first challenge. What was the first challenge? Shape of a nation that will be united and accommodated. In this only lesson 1. This chapter will discuss only challenge number 1 in chapter 1. This will discuss in lesson 2. And this challenge will discuss in lesson 3. That is why this is the introduction part of the chapter. As I am telling you that there are three broad challenges which India faced just after independence. But the second challenge and third challenge we will study in detail in lesson 2 and lesson 3 of this book itself. Because when it comes to establishing democracy, we will completely come to the next chapter. And when we will talk about economic development and development plans, okay, of 5-year plans, that we will discuss in lesson 3. So in this chapter, we will only focus on the first part, that is shape a nation that will be united and accommodating of the diversity. So here we will be only talking about the nation building. And when we will talk about nation building, so in this chapter we will cover 3 topics. That is, we will talk about detail in partition and also about the consequences of partitions. Then we will also talk about merger of the princely states. It will be integration of the princely states and role of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in this. Okay, and then we will also talk about reorganization of states. Reorganization of states. So these will be the things which we will be reading in this book under national building, which is the first challenge of this book, as we have discussed 3 challenges. So I hope we have understood the structure of the chapter which we will be studying. So this structure is not only limited to chapter 1, because challenge number 2 and challenge number 3 will be studying in lesson 2 and lesson 3. In lesson 1, that is challenge of nation building, we will be studying first challenge, and under that first challenge we will be studying about partition, merger of princely states and reorganization of states. So I hope this introductory part is clear to you, and I will be taking some part from the NCERT book also, so that it will be clear to you. So this is the structure which we have to study in this book, and what is the relevance and significance of this book I have told you. And this book is very interesting, so you have to read it very carefully. Okay, so now we will take some important points of these 3 challenges from your NCERT. So this is the chapter, students, challenges of nation building, which we have taken the introduction part of this chapter. And in this chapter we will only talk about the first challenge, that is nation building, where I told you that there were 3 challenges, but in this book we will only talk about first challenge, that is nation building. Other 2 challenges we will discuss in the second and the third chapter. So here, challenges of new nation. Let's read some of the important content, although I have already discussed it. At the hour of midnight of 14th and 15th August 1947, India attained independence. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of Free India, he addressed the special session of the Constituent Assembly. So on the midnight of 14th-15th August, Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister, he addressed one of the important session of Constituent Assembly that night. This was a famous, and this speech was given the name here, Tryst with Dynasty. You must know this can come for 1 marks, that whose speech was this. You must be very much familiar with this. Okay, now this was a moment India had been waiting for. As we know, we were eagerly waiting for this moment, that when would we become an independent nation. You have read in your history textbooks, and when we talk about the independent national movements, this is very closely related to the history textbook. That's why I told you that this book is going to be an overlapping book, where we will understand the historical background also, at the same time we will understand the political developments also. This is a very interesting book, that's why. There were many voices in our national movements, but there were 2 goals. Okay, so many people were combined together. They fought very bravely, and we attained our independence. But there were 2 goals which are common to everyone, and everyone agreed upon those 2 points. One was that after independence we shall run our country through democratic form of government. Okay, Everyone knew this, the importance of democratic form of government, because the history, British history, we had gone through with so many challenges under them. So we did not wanted to continue the life of our citizens with the same pattern. So we wanted a democratic form of government. And the other was, government will run for the good for all, particularly for the government will work for good, especially for the poor and socially disadvantaged groups also, to bring them up. Now the country was independent, the time had come to realize the promise of the freedom fighters. Now there were a lot of promises made by the freedom fighters during the freedom struggle, when people united to come together against the Britishers. But now the time had come where they had to realize the promise of the freedom. Okay, this was not going to be easy. India was born in a difficult circumstances. Most important thing, India was born in a very difficult circumstances, and we know our freedom came with partition. Although we were very happy, but there was a partition of our country on the basis of the religious disturbance and communal rights. Our country was divided into two parts. One became the West Pakistan also and East Pakistan also. So perhaps no other country then by born in a situation more difficult than that in India. No country in this phase or after the Second World War, no country had got the independence in such a difficult situation as India got. Freedom came with partition of the country. Although we get freedom, but our country was partitioned. The year 1947 was a year of unprecedented. If we talk about this year 1947, we feel very happy that we became independent. Okay, but this came with partition also, which led to the unprecedented lot of violence and trauma and turmoil around the country, which led to the displacement of people from one part of the country to the other. A lot of killings and violence. It was in this situation that independent India started on its journey. So in this situation, India started the journey to achieve several objectives. As we know, before our independence only, we had various objectives and people had various desires and aspirations. But anyhow, this incident of partition made the environment worst for our country, and instead of celebrating our independence, we were facing a lot of consequences and turmoils because of this event. Yet we had to achieve the objectives which were already pre-planned. Yet the turmoil and accompanied the independence did not make our leaders lose sight. Our leaders did not lose sight. Although we were facing the problem of turmoil and partition, but our leaders did not lose sight. They were very clear cut about the ideas that how we have to build our nation, or the multiple challenges, what are the challenges which we'll have to face, and then we have to make a new nation. So our journey, we can say our journey started on a very difficult phase, I would say, because of the partition. But still our freedom fighters and the leaders did not lose the sight. They were very clear about the ideas and about the challenges which we had to face and make our or build our new nation. So as I said, India as an independent country, there were three broad challenges. There were many challenges which India faced after independence, but multiple challenges we cannot study one by one. So we have categorized them, classified into three broad categories. So talking of the three challenges here, broadly, independent India faced three kinds of challenges, and the first was the immediate challenge was to shape a nation that was united yet accommodative of the diversity in our society. The first challenge was, and we had to act upon it very immediately, otherwise our country would have disintegrated into many other parts, same like East Pakistan, West Pakistan, and many other parts would have disintegrated from our main boundary. Okay, so it was very important to accommodate all the people, as we tell that India has a diversity, but still we have a unity in diversity. So this was the first work of the government, that how they are going to accommodate so many people of different caste, color, language in the same society. This was the first challenge. As India was a land of continental size and diversity, India was a very big in size, 7th largest in terms of the area, and huge diversity in India. Its people spoke different languages, followed different culture, religion, as we know, different culture, religion, customs. So it becomes difficult to accommodate all the people in the same society. But this was a challenge, and this was very important to cope up with this challenge. Otherwise, further our country would have disintegrated to the various sections. At that time, it was widely believed that country full of such kind of diversity could not remain together for a long. The partition of the country, so it was believed that a country with so much of diversity could not remain united for a long time, because they thought that this idea of democracy is not going to work in India, underdeveloped country. The partition of the country appeared to prove everyone was fair, and when there was a situation of partition, this proved to be right. The critics were right. It seemed to be. There were serious questions about the future of India. So these are the questions. Would India survive as a unified country? So these are the questions pushed forward just after 1947, after the partition. That would India be able to unified country because it is having so much of diversity? Would it do so by emphasizing national unity at the cost of every other objective? Would it remain rejecting all regional and sub-regional identities? These are the different questions. There was an urgent question. Urgent question was, how was integration of the territory of India to be achieved? How the leaders of India are going to integrate the territory? Integrate means जोड़ना सबको एक साथ. But there were huge differences if we talk about the diversity in terms of language, customs, culture. So the first challenge it was that how the leaders are going to integrate our territory. Okay, so these are the questions. So this was the first challenge which independent India faced. Second challenge was to establish democracy. So this challenge is the content. First challenge, we'll completely talk about this first challenge in this book, but when we talk about a second challenge, this we'll study in the second chapter, but we'll discuss it here also. Second challenge was to establish democracy. How we are going to establish, because this was the aspiration and desire of the people to have a democratic form of government where each and every citizen was given the equal representation without any discrimination irrespective of their caste, color, language. You have already studied the Indian Constitution. You know that the Constitution granted fundamental rights. So when we talk about democracy, election becomes a very important element when we talk of the democracy, and true democracy, free and fair elections. So fundamental rights was one of the very important element, and also the right to vote, which was given to every citizen, even the women's also. India adopted representative democracy. So we adopted this system of representative democracy and parliamentary form of government. This were the system which we started following to follow a true democratic country. These features ensure that the political competition would take place. It means if we are having a representative democracy and a parliamentary form of government, it means we will have a political competition. It means there will be not a monopoly of any political party. No political party can be into dominance, and there will be free and fair elections. So every party has the fair chances of winning the elections. So this will lead to a very proper democratic framework. So our democratic constitution is necessary. So now the other thing is democratic constitution. Our constitution is very important in a democracy, but not sufficient for establishing a democracy. But if we have framed a constitution, a democratic constitution, where everything has been written down, various provisions have been written down, articles have been written down to run in a democracy, but it does not mean that it will lead to a democratic form of government. It is very important that whatever has been written down in the constitutional, it is being implemented into practice in a democratic countries. It means whatever provisions have been written down in the constitution, it is important to practice them practically on the field. So the challenge was to develop democratic practices. So we'll have to practice the democratic constitution in accordance with the constitution. The third challenge. Now let's talk about the third challenge, which we'll discuss in the third chapter. The third challenge was to ensure the development. Now we talked of the development. After having the national unity, after accommodating all the people of the various diversity, after talking of the democracy and having a democratic form of government with the help of the democratic constitution, now the third challenge was to ensure development, because we were facing economic crisis, social crisis, political crisis, because we just got the independence and our resources were all used up by the Britishers. So to grow the economy and to have the other type of development, economy is very important. So various developments were required and well-being of the entire society. The third challenge was to ensure development and well-being of the entire society, and not only of some sections. Here again the constitution clearly laid down the principles of equality. So here we talked about the principles of equality. On the basis of the principle of equality, we led this procedure of development and special protection of socially disadvantaged group. So basically we are talking about the development here. We will be taking in consideration all the society, and especially we will be working on the principle of equality, where no one will be discriminated on the basis of caste, color, language. Okay, and we will be giving proper and support and protection to the socially disadvantaged groups, religious and cultural communities who are lagging behind. So the constitution also set out the directive principles of state policy. There were some directions given to the state or the government also, that how they have to work out the welfare goals in a democratic politics, which is very important recently just after independence. So these were the three challenges. So how did the independent India respond to these challenges? To what extent did India succeed in achieving the various objectives set out by the constitution? So in this entire book we will be talking about that how did India respond to these three challenges. I've just told you the three challenges, but those are broadly classified. Under them there are many sub challenges which we will be reading under each topic. So in this book we will talk about how India responded to these challenges, to what extent India succeeded in achieving the various objectives set out of whatever has been written down in the constitution. What are they being achieved? Are they being implemented properly? Are they being practiced properly? This entire book is an attempt to respond to these questions. So this book is entirely questioning all these questions which we are discussing here. This book tells us the story of politics in India since independence. Then broadly we will be talking about the political developments and changes in India after independence, and develop your own answers of the big questions. Okay, so these are the things we will understand in this chapter. So in this chapter we will focus on the first challenge. So particularly in this chapter, that is challenge of nation building, we will focus on the first challenge only, that is building that occupied central stage in the year immediately after independence. First challenge, that is nation building, it was a central stage in the year immediately. So immediately the actions which were taken was relating to the nation building. We begin by looking at the events that followed. So all this I have already explained to you. So with this we'll come to the end of this lecture. I have already explained you the things. So from the next video or in the physical class we will read the next topics relating to the partition of India. Till then, thank you, take care.